I done got into, I don't miss these filters like this, but I like this little filter right here. Um, Let me find it. This one right here because it's like an old movie or something. So I really like this one. So like I was saying on the other live, this is where I pick back up at because this gon' take me into something else, and this is what I just wanted to talk about. But um like I was saying, life really started for me like at 8. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to. It seemed like I had. That's why I started to have to be an adult early. Like, um, you already know some of my story or whatever. Like from the beginning, like I was saying that I was born to like a 13-year-old. You know what I'm saying? So the part where I had to grow up in the house with my mom, with us calling the same person mom, which is my grandmama, which is really her mom, and my grandmother, but we was both calling each other mom, and that in itself, was a challenge for me because I'm looking like who is mom, you know what I'm saying? Before I could really understand that she was my mom for real, my mom, and then my grandmama was my grandmother. But when you raising a child up to, and then you call your grandmama mom from like 0 age to 8 or 9 years old, then the only thing is that's my mama. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what nobody say, and that's how my mindset was because she was all that I knew. She was the one. She was there. She was taking care of me, and that's just how, what I'm saying, that's what it was. Like she she was my mama, like and even though being in the house with my grandmother had 7 children, which is my auntie and my uncles, you know what I'm saying? And with me being there, you know what I'm saying, it felt like that I was number 8 because me and my uncle was 5 years apart. My grandma youngest child, and we're 5 years apart. And everybody thought that we were brother and sister because of the age was so close. And by it being that way, like really, shoot, I mean, I didn't know any better until around the age of about 8 years old. And that's why I say my life really started at 8 years old when things was like opened up to me. You know what I'm saying? I started to know more about me and what was going on. My life just in general. Stuff that, nobody never really said anything about. And that's basically how it goes. Like when, you being brought up in a household, your grandmother's household or whatever, the aunties and the uncles, they know what's going on. They know that the situation was, which my situation was, that my mom had a baby at 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? Where she wasn't old enough to take care of herself, and she wasn't old enough to take care of a child, and wasn't old enough to be nobody's mama. You know what I'm saying? So, they understood that. But me at my young age, by them telling me that story, like it wouldn't make much sense to me because I couldn't really process, the whole idea of it. I would have to be a little bit older, to process that. But, by that going the way it did at 8 years old, I started to understand that um this is my mom right here. You know what I'm saying? And my grandmother is not my mother, but in my heart, she was still my mother. You know what I'm saying? I was calling her mom. I was actually calling my mama by her first name. And you know, then it's like all hell broke loose because my mom, she met this man. I don't even want to say, I don't want to even say this dude. What I really want to say, met this nigga. You know what I'm saying? But she met this guy, and then you know how they go. She was younger then though. She I mean not younger, but she was older then when she me and my brothers and sisters daddy and which I called the monster. He was the monster. And you know how kids say the monster under my bed? He was the monster under my bed. And you know how everybody tried to, impress the woman that they want or whatever. And when she bring her kid around and stuff like that, he want to play like he gonna be a good father and all that type of stuff. But that don't be the case all the time because people have other things in mind. And with that being said, he had other things in mind. But at the age of 8, I learned, and definitely learned the hard way. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what was ahead of me. And sometimes people say, things happen to you because you're not a good person or you didn't treat people good. That's not true because I was at the tender age of 8. I was a child. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even in my teens or early 20s. I was a 8-year old, and I hadn't done anything to nobody in my life. You know what I'm saying? I was a child and didn't know what was going on, and I didn't know what my life was until um I was 8 years old, and then it just went from there. But after I realized, what was going on, it this was like a different time in my life where um when I turned 8 years old. Before I was 8 years old, like my mama, I mean, from my perspective, I'm not gonna say that she felt like this, but from my perspective, she didn't want anything to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Because she just probably wanted to live her life. And because she was so young, she was just focused on, anything but being a mother. You know what I'm saying? And time went on. She finished school, finished high school. She started working and stuff like that. And she was doing what she was doing, enjoying her life or whatever. But that didn't include me. And I'm just saying from what I lived, not from what nobody told me. And I was just with my grandma. And my everyday life with my grandma was like, my everyday life with my grandmother was like whatever she did. You know what I'm saying? Whatever she did, I was going. When she was going somewhere, I was going with her. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, how it is when people be want to do something, or mothers nowadays, they want to do stuff, but they don't want to take children with them. They just don't want to be bothered. It wasn't nothing like that. My grandmother wasn't the type of person, God rest her soul, was not the type of person to go drop you off at somebody's house. Like, if she doing something, it don't matter if you want to go. You going with her. You going with her. And, when she went, I went too. So that's my life. My grandmama, I always with her, and that's how it was. You know what I'm saying? My mother was nowhere in the picture, nowhere, because she had moved out at a young age to be with my brothers and sisters' daddy. Like, um, so once she did that, I don't know. Maybe she was. I don't know if he persuaded her to he said go get your daughter or something like that. Or I don't know if she just said in her head, I'm gonna go get my daughter, you know what I'm saying, now, because I want us to be a family and stuff like that. I want a family, so I'm gonna go get my baby, you know what I'm saying. I don't know if it went like that because my mama don't talk about nothing. My mama never talked about anything. And then my mama don't show emotion. Like, she never talk about how she feel. And if she do, then it's something that she wants to do, and it might be with somebody that she like, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's somebody that she feel comfortable with. You know what I'm saying? Rather than the person that she needs to talk to about it. She'd rather talk to somebody else instead of telling whoever she's talking about. And this could be even in a good way. I've noticed this about my mama. I've heard people tell me the way my mama talks about me, in a good light, you know what I'm saying? But she would tell somebody else how she feel about me, but wouldn't even tell me. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand it, but that's how it would be. So we never really talked about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because she didn't talk about anything. Now, if you can see, I'm the talker. Like, I'm the communicator. You know what I'm saying? I'm a communicator to my heart. Like, I have no problem communicating stuff. Well, yeah, I do sometimes, but not all the time. Like 98% of the time, I'm gonna communicate, cause that's a strong point of mine. I'm gonna communicate to where you got people that don't communicate. You know what I'm saying? Or they struggle with communication. They struggle with communication, and that's just, man. That's the beginning for me. 8 years old, and at the time, that's why I was like, I don't know if they were saying that, the two of them saying they want to be a family, or was he saying go get your daughter because he wanted, he had something in mind, which a lot of with all the other stuff took place, the things that took place, um strongly makes me feel that he told her, you know what I'm saying, go get your daughter, you know what I'm saying, because he got something in mind, you know what I'm saying. It wasn't necessarily for the to be a family, you know what I'm saying, because he had things in mind or whatever. And people do stuff to people too. You know, man, it's just so many things that occurred, like that, even now to this day, so many years far down the line, that made me realize, it made me put all the pieces to the puzzle together. And so I um to go back to what I was saying, um so they came and got me, and it was more like, the way it happened in my mind. I'm not saying what nobody else said, and I'll make that perfectly clear throughout this live. It's not what nobody told me, it's what my recollection was. And yes, I have a very, very, very wonderful recollection of the things that went on in my life in my early years. I always my first memory started in Head Start. That's the first memories that I have, Head Start. Okay. So when she decided to get me, I hadn't seen my mom in so long. Until the day she decided to get me, um my mama was pregnant when I saw her again. That's how long it had been since I seen her. My mom was pregnant, and my mama was pregnant, like really pregnant. And she was pregnant with my brothers. My mom was pregnant with twins. And I'm 8, and she's pregnant. She's with him. They have an apartment together. They work together. And I hadn't been a part of none of this until one day my mom shows up outside of my grandma's house. And my grandma had custody of, from my recollection, now I keep saying this a bunch of times because, people will say, well, how you know this happened? How you know that happened? You don't know this. That's why I always say, from my recollection. That's from what I recall. Now, um, I was with my grandmother, so anybody who you been with, and you ain't been staying with nobody else, well, I say, my grandmother had custody of me, and she did. I know she did, because people want to act like they don't they didn't receive government assistance. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. A lot of people did. It was So if I'm still real young and you getting food stamps for me and you get a check for me assistance, like, then that's government assistance. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point of what it's for. Like, if you need it, then get it. You know what I'm saying? But that didn't last long. It didn't last long anyway because I grew up so fast. You know what I'm saying? But there ain't nothing to be ashamed of because there's so many people that get government assistance. I done had government assistance throughout my life. I don't have no children. You know what I'm saying? Because people get down sometimes time and they need the help. Like, you got people that abuse it, yes, but I've had it, so I knew enough to put two and two together. And then you hear people talk to when you're young. You know what I'm saying? You hear people talk, and I heard people talk, and when they talk and people get heated, they bring up checks and food stamps. And you know how people do. They bring up checks and food stamps because you always got one person in the family. They always want to get everybody kids. They want to get everybody kids so they can get their checks and get their food stamps. Yes, yes, you got somebody in the family. I always got a person in the family like that. So of course that's what you're gonna hear, and you're gonna hear people talking about it. So that's how I knew I got a check and I got food stamps from the government. And let me tell you something else I also knew that did nobody had to tell me. Cause when you that young and stuff around that age, you still get WIC. You get you still get WIC. You get what else you get? And then you got see, cause I remember going to the WIC office with my grandma, and in the WIC office they had if you bring the kids, if your kids coming in there, they got something for the kids too. And they had like this little Kool-Aid thing that they would give the kids like when they come up in there. So I remember that very well. And I remember WIC very well because back in the 90s, WIC was bussing. You get the cheese, you get the I bet y'all gonna be like, shut up. But it's true though, you get the cheese, you get the cheese. What else y'all get? You get the milk. You get the see back then in the night you got powdered eggs. Not go to the store and get the eggs. Not go to the store and get the milk. You did. They just started it like in the late, maybe like the mid 90s. They started to where you get the voucher and go to the store and get your cheese. You can pick what kind of cheese you want. You can pick your milk, and I think it had to be 2% milk or something like that. But you can pick um what else? You get cereal. And I know if you go to the WIC office, you would get King Vitamin cereal. And I love King Vitamin cereal. I don't know why. But it was just something about this cereal. And my grandmama didn't play that sugar stuff in the house. Like, you was gonna eat cereal. You wasn't finna put no sugar in no cereal. I don't care if it was cornflakes. And that's just the way she was. And I can't lie. That's how she was. Like no sugar in the cereal. I don't know, but I was happy to see King Vitamin cereal because, and you know what, that really helped me to this day because I'm not crazy about sugary foods. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I don't have anything with sugar, but I'm not crazy about sweet cereal and stuff like that. So thank you, Grandma, because some people act like they can't eat cereal without it being sweet. But yeah, that's kind of how I knew what was going on. You know what I'm saying? So she had to have, custody of me to be able to still receive those assistance and stuff like that. And back then the social worker was coming to the house. It ain't like it is now. The social worker was coming to the house back in the day, and I can remember the people coming to the house. And yes, it is like what you would see on movies and stuff, like when people reenact like the social worker coming. And I'm gonna tell you something that sticks in my head, like the movie Nadine. It's a 70s movie. And she had all those kids. She was young. I think she was like 30 years old, with like what, 5 or 6 kids, 6, 7 kids, something like that. And she, if she was on assistance, and she, back then they won't really want to give you no assistance or no help if you had a man in the house. You know what I'm saying? And I can understand that to a degree. I understand. You know what I'm saying? If the man is there and y'all unmarried, I can understand that. But if you had a man in the house, and they wouldn't want to give you anything, because they be like, it's a man here. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be want for nothing because you got a man here. That's help. And but like the movie Nadine, when the social worker come, she hiding certain stuff to make it look like she not doing better than what they think she's doing. Like she was hiding. I think they hid a toaster, and they hid a blender. And then he was there when the social worker popped up. So they the social worker was slick, trying to look in closets, look in doors, looking around the house, kind of see, if she had anything else, or did she get an upgrade from the last time that, she came or whatever. And I just had a thought, never mind. But it's it's crazy because that's really how it was. And he was there, so they was study study hide him in the closet. When she walked this way, he come out the closet, go hide somewhere else. And I've heard that has really happened in our family before, and I was like, man, that is crazy. But I remember watching that movie, and that's what happened on that movie. And like, I knew my grandma I knew my grandma had custody of me because that's the things that I saw. And just putting two and two together, man, I had to learn and grow real quick. Now let's take it back to when I was 8 years old. When I was 8 years old, things got real for me, y'all. Like, I always say, like, that was the first day of hell for me. Like, eight, I rule the eight house anyway. You know what I'm saying? And eight, oh my God. When the universe works, it works. Especially for me, because the eighth house ruler and the age of eight, this is where things start. My life took a turn at 8 years old. Man, I didn't know what was finna happen to me, but it happened. It started happening. And I was not ready for that. I was not ready for that. What I went through, there's no way you can prepare. Even as an adult, you can't like prepare to go through the stuff that I went through. But when I turned 8 years old, that day my mom came to the house, and some work was being done behind the scenes. Um some work was being done behind the scenes. And when my mom came to the house that day, I remember my aunt telling me to go outside. My grandma was not at home that day. My grandmother was actually, she could have, I think she was either at school, cause she has, took up, like, went to a school to get like a trade or something, or it could have been, I think it was GD. But she had went to the school. This is just something my grandma wanted to do, and she did that. No, I think she was at work. Anyway, she would just clean, houses a little bit here and there. You know what I'm saying? Just, what people do. They did that in the early times anyway. And when my aunt told me to go outside, I went outside. There's a car in the front of the house, and when I went outside, I was skeptical. But when I went outside, I saw it was my mom. And then, to be honest, like, my grandmama had put so much, my grandma was the way she was. You know what I'm saying? And if you know, you know. But the way I knew the way my grandma was, the way she talked, the way she felt about certain things, you know what I'm saying? What she said is what she said. And my grandma was a respected woman. Like, it was no way around it. My grandma was a respected lady by the people in her family and the people that knew her. So it wasn't no going, against what she said. So I walked out there or whatever. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna put some lip gloss on. Hold on. Hold up, y'all. Okay. So yeah, that's it. That's my me. But it wasn't like no going against what she said. And my grandmama had clearly said that my mama could not get me. And I don't know what the arrangement she had with her. If there was an arrangement in it, I don't know. But she had said that she couldn't get me. And for whatever reason that was, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it was like my grandma probably, I don't know if my grandmama thought that my mama wasn't capable, of doing all the, parent duties and stuff. And she just was looking out for her because I couldn't see her wanting to hurt her, in no kind of way. Because, like we said, at the end of the day, like, my mama was still young. You know what I'm saying? And then, let me tell you something, too. That day I walked out there and seen my mama was pregnant. I didn't even know my mom was pregnant. Like, that's how long it had been. And I hadn't seen her. And I didn't even know that my mama was pregnant. But when I went to that car, my mama was pregnant. And in the back seat was my clothes. My clothes was in the back seat. So I'm like, I'm scared now. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what my grandmama said. And this is clearly going against what my grandmama said. So I'm sitting in this car, and in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to be in trouble. Because mama said no. And mama said no. But I'm in this car and my clothes in the back seat. So I'm going to be in trouble. So she pulled off. I didn't really know what to say because we didn't have a relationship. It was awkward. Get in the car, get in the front seat. We don't even, I don't say, hey, mommy, or, excited and stuff like how kids be. It wasn't none of that because we didn't really know. We knew each other, but we didn't have a relationship like that. If you get where I'm going with that. So when I got in the car, she pulled off. And man, the rest is history. The rest is history. Because, like I said, my life started at 8. Like, I had to grow up at 8 years old. For real. Like, I literally had to grow up. And, excuse me. Had to grow up at 8 years old. And I just didn't know what was waiting for me. I just didn't know what was waiting for me. I didn't know. But I quickly found out. I remember the day that I met my brothers and sisters' daddy before my mama was even pregnant. I don't think my mama was pregnant then. But I had, excuse me, I met him one time when brought me to meet him, and I knew that thing was gonna do that sooner or later, but she brought me to meet him, and it was the most awkward feeling. You know what I'm saying? I was already intuitive at 8 years old, and it's crazy, but it's true. I was already intuitive at 8 years old. I had a bad feeling, like a very uneasy feeling, like it just didn't sit right with me when I met him. And it's the honest to God truth. It did not sit right with me. Anytime, and I can remember the words being said to me. Like I said, I have a real good mind. Like my memory real good. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Like when I first met him, my mama pulled up to that house, and I remember who house it was. I remember where the house is to this day. All these years later, I can drive right to where that house is, and it's like if that house is if that house has been torn down, I could tell you where exactly where it was. See, but I remember meeting him, and he said he said hey or whatever, and then he asked me, do you want me to buy you a bike? And I'm like, I remember just sitting there like, and I didn't say yes or no because he asked me again. He said, you want me to buy you a bike? And I'm like, I didn't know what to say because at the end of the day, I was who my grandma was. You know what I'm saying? The way that I was brought up, who my grandma was. Like, there was no way I'm finna say yeah because my grandma brought us up, don't beg for nothing, don't ask nobody for nothing. Even if she had to borrow, you know what I'm saying? It was off limits for you to do it. And that's why I just stood there. You know, I didn't say anything. But after that day, that day, things like, boy, I don't have enough time to talk about how stuff changed when I went to live with my mom. Cause my life took a real turn when I went to stay with my mama. It really did. And it was something that I have any clue about the things that I was about to get ready to go through. I had never went through nothing like that before. The things that I was finna be able to be exposed to, I had no idea of what they were. You know what I'm saying? Like, but my a lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff happened. And I tell my truth. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to hurt nobody. You know what I'm saying? But I speak truth. That's what I do. I speak truth and I tell my truth. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't to hurt nobody. Hold on a minute. Yeah, but sorry y'all. I had to check something. But I speak my truth. I tell my truth. And like I said, my I moved in with my mom that day when she came to pick me up. And when she came to pick me up, she brought me to the apartment where they was living. And it was a 1 bedroom apartment. So that already means that I don't have a room. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not happy about that because where have you been, first of all? And then two, when you decide that you want me, um, I don't have a room. So uh, the little bit of how that went and how that looked, and just to paint the picture, you know what I'm saying? I'm pulled up to an apartment, one bedroom apartment, and it's a small apartment, you know what I'm saying? Because some one bedrooms apartment be pretty large, you know what I'm saying? But it's a small apartment. I can walk you right through it right now as I'm looking. I see it right now in my head. You walk through the front door, you know, that's your living room. Not much space at all. Not much space at all. You keep walking straight, you walk directly into the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? And that's the image. Now if you turn back around and walk out the kitchen, before you walk out the kitchen, before you get in the living room, you hit a left. You know what I'm saying? When you hit that left and walk straight, you going through a door that leads you into the bedroom, right? And before you get completely in the bedroom, when you walk through that door, to your left is a small bathroom. You know what I'm saying? And that's the apartment. Like that's it. And literally two rooms, if you per se. It's two rooms because there's only one door that separates the apartment. And that does not include the door you walk into, the front door. So just picture that. And then picture the living room just having one bed, you know what I'm saying? And not even a pull out bed for me, you know what I'm saying? So picture that, and then put yourself in my mind, put yourself in my shoes after you picture that. Like, I didn't have a pull out bed. Back then I didn't even know anything about a blow up mattress. I don't even know if they even existed back then. But I know back then we had pull out beds, which is the bed that fold in half, and it has a mattress and springs and just stuff like that. And it's a pull out bed, it rolls. So that's what I remember, back in the day. But not even that, you know what I'm saying? Didn't have that. Um, but what you was gonna do was you was gonna lay on the floor. And that's what I did. I laid on the floor, and then when the babies came, then now it's one, two, three, four. It's five of us in a one bedroom apartment. And everybody got a bed but me. So, that's why I say just put yourself in my shoes. When the babies came, they got a little bassinet they sleeping in. And them two got the bed they sleeping in, but I'm sleeping on the floor. And oh man, it's a lot. And when the babies come, they gotta go back to work. So guess what? Guess who watching babies at 8 years old? Going to school and watching babies. So I ain't had time for nothing. I ain't get no playtime, no nothing. You damn sure ain't gonna get no telephone time because you got a mama that won't let you get on the phone. You know what I'm saying? And then you can't have no company over. No girls can come over. And if they did, they ain't had nothing to play with. I mean, I'm just being real. You know what I'm saying? People don't like real, but that's me. And that's the part of my blessing and my curse. Because I'm real. And um and that's just how life was for me. That's why I was like, it started when I was 8 years old. I had to grow up early because I had to raise kids. And my mama probably never would see it like that, but I did. I had to raise kids, even though I didn't have a job. Being a job ain't part of raising no doggone kids. I don't care what nobody say. Raising kids come as whoever your guardian is. You know what I'm saying? How they being directed in life. You know what I'm saying? That's the part of raising. That's raising to me. And how they're being guided, the leadership, all of that type of stuff. So I say raising kids because that's what I was doing. I was a mama way before that was the only part of me being a mama because like to this day I don't have kids. And I think that was why, because it was part of God's grace or whatever for me. But at the end of the day, I was an 8 year old with two newborn twins that I'm watching. You know what I'm saying? My mama would be pissed as hell if she saw this, because you know my mama a private person. You know what I'm saying? But my truth be my truth, because this is my life. You know what I'm saying? You made you made that a part of my life when you decided to do things this way. So this was put up on me, like, simple. This was put up on me. So this how it started. That's how my life started, just like that. So after that, life kept on going in that one bedroom apartment. We didn't stay there forever because as your family expands, you do need more space. So we did move, but a lot of the trauma started in that one bedroom apartment. And it was more than just being at home with newborns by myself. And the trauma started on both ends, from the male factor and the female factor, which was the both of them. And the abuse was like two part. You know what I'm saying? It was two part. It was emotional and physical. So this all that started in that one spot. So now, you know what I'm saying? I'm wishing like hell I never set foot in that car. You know what I'm saying? That day. And I didn't want to anyway. I had an intuition at a very young age, and I didn't even realize that. I didn't even realize how blessed I was at such a young age, because I didn't understand anything about that. But um I didn't know what was ahead of me when I got in that car. And if I could turn back the hands of time, and I don't even say that, I've never said this, but if I could turn back the hands of time, I would not get in that car. I would have not gone that day. I would have not gone that day. Because from then on, my life was pure hell. And I think that, you know, there's a whole lot in between that. But I'm just going to stop right there, because things progressed and progressed and progressed, you know, and they worsened. Um, I didn't get free until I was like 18. You know what I'm saying? And even then, I don't think that my mom wanted me to go anywhere, because at the age of 18, she still had kids small enough to watch. You know what I'm saying? While she worked and stuff like that. But I just couldn't take it anymore. Too much abuse going on in that house. You know what I'm saying? Too much on me, to the point where many times I wanted to take my own life, because it was too much going on. It was too much going on. So I was like, if I get the chance, I'm going to split. And I got 18, I left. And I walked into another door. You know what I'm saying? Another door of hell, which was totally different than the one that I had came from. And that's just how it went. Like, you what they say, to get out the frying pan and step right into the fire. I think it was opposite with this one, because I was in the fire at first. But then it's like I got out the fire and went into the frying pan, because it was less it was less it wasn't as worse as being with my mama. I ain't gonna lie. Nothing tops that. And it's, like, ever since, I've always been in toxic situations, because I started in toxic situations. And this gonna make me cry, y'all. It's gonna make me cry, because that's the reason why. That is the reason why. That's the reason why. It's just always been toxic for me. It's always been toxic for me. And it's not that I'm a toxic person. It's just the situation always been toxic. I started off in a toxic situation. Y'all, I'm crying. Don't mind me, okay? Don't mind me, but it's the truth. When I speak the truth, it brings tears to my eyes, because That was my truth for so many years, and I didn't know what my truth was. And it starts when you have a start like that. It it makes it hard in choosing people. It makes it hard and to know what love is because you ain't ever had it. And I understand when you haven't had, real love shown to you before. You don't know what it look like. You don't know what it feel like. You know what I'm saying? And it's scary. It scares you. It scares the hell out of you. It scares the hell out of you. So I can understand when I bring real love towards people. You know what I'm saying? It scares them. It scares the mess out of them. But like I be saying I don't mean no harm. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean no harm, but I don't think I know how to do is give love. You know what I'm saying? I know this my ministry, like this my one of my things about me, this my calling in life. Like I know how to give love. You know what I'm saying? When so many in the world don't. And being who I am and coming from where I'm coming from, you would think that I would be a person that, you know what I'm saying, wouldn't even be built like that, be made like that, but I am. And out of all the everything that I've been through, I have not lost, my ability to use my heart. Like my heart always been the biggest part of me, like, and still to this day, but I be suffering because when I be giving love, it's like, it don't be requited. You know what I'm saying? It don't be like reciprocated when I be doing it. And, what I'm saying, the people that do, because I know it when I feel it, but it don't be coming. It don't be coming. If I do have somebody that really love me, guess what? They too afraid. They too afraid to go all the way. Like they too afraid. You know what I'm saying? They too afraid to, give of themselves completely. You know what I'm saying? They always want to. It's like something they revert back to, and they never, give completely because they're afraid. They don't want anybody to change them. I was just thinking about something that I was told, but oh man, that's why I be like, people just be choosing routes in life. You know what I'm saying? They just choose what's comfortable for them. They choose what's comfortable for them rather than, what I'm saying, go on getting down to the meat of things. Let's grow. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying let's grow and let's get to the meat of things, let's be happy for real, for real. And I already know people say happiness starts with you. Yeah, it do. I ain't gonna say I ain't happy, but I can say that, it's things that I know could enhance my happiness, and I do want that. You know what I'm saying? I do want the enhancement of that. And then the fact that everybody is lovable. It's just that who you choose to love, that be the biggest thing. Like, who you choosing. You know what I'm saying? Or who's choosing you. Because that's why it be so much imbalance, because the person that really love you, you know what I'm saying, you don't choose that person. I see a lot of that. Like, you don't choose the person that really love you. You go towards the person you like. And then, like, I heard, that's why I say I like Johnny Dollar. Johnny Dollar speak real stuff. He is a pimp, but he speak real stuff. And Johnny Dollar said that. He said Men, choose the woman that likes you or loves you. Don't choose the woman that you love. Like, but he used the word like though. But I understand where he was going with that. Choose the woman that love you, not the woman that you want. And cause most times men lust after women and stuff like that, and they be the ones that don't be studying you. You know what I'm saying? But a woman that care and love you, she gonna always be there for you. She gonna make sure you okay and all that type of stuff. It's gonna be real. It's gonna be genuine. And when he said that, I was like, yeah, I like this guy right here. You know what I'm saying? Because most pimps and stuff, they don't really care. They just want to get done what they want to get done. They want the job done. You know what I'm saying? And they always say that they trying to teach them something, or they trying to be something that they never had to the women or whoever. But no, you actually got pimps out here, and I know people probably not agree with their way of life, but you got, it's a very few handful, not even a handful, that actually care about your well-being and your psyche. You know what I'm saying? So, man, Johnny Dollar got my vote. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry, but he do. He got my vote because he said the most realest shit that I ever heard a pimp open up their mouth and say. But he made sense. Nine, do not mess with the person that you like, because men, they like certain stuff, and it don't mean a hill of beans. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how men are. Most men, they like what they feel like is gonna advance them. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that, or put them at a certain tier. You know what I'm saying, by who they got on their arm and stuff like that. But that don't be true. That don't be true. That be the superficial part of it. You know what I'm saying? That looks more appealing to them. Because men have egos as big as most of them do, as big as this whole damn country. You know what I'm saying? And women have egos too. But I have ego, but it is nothing compared to them. I'm too humble for stuff like that. I'm too humble for that to be my biggest focus. You know what I'm saying? And other than not focus on what's real about life, and what's gonna really help me grow. You know what I'm saying? And be a better person. Because believe it or not, we all got stuff to do on this earth. And not everybody got a real big job to do. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But anyway, I'm finna get ready to get away from here, though. Finna get ready to pull off. I done stay here for a minute now. It ain't even 7 o'clock yet, though. Hold on.